Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Connected Kinesiologist Meetup here on Tuesday, August 31st, a special edition with my client, Jeff Richmond. And we are going to say hello to Christiane, who's joining us from Geraldton, Ontario, and then we're going to hop into an introduction about Jeff. Hi, Christiane.
Hey, so my name's Christiane. I'm a kinesiologist in Geraldton Hospital. We basically do pretty much everything. We have an LTC, we have acute, we have outpatient, a little bit of everything. And I had graduated from the U of T MPK program.
Excellent. Amazing. Amazing. So I am the founder of a continuing education company called First Line Education. And to help fund and get that going, I've been working with clients 2 days a week. And Jeff, I can't recall how you found me. Can you remind me how we got connected? Do you remember?
Certainly will. Yes. So I'm Jeff. I'm 66 years old, male, aging baby boomer. It was actually through my daughter, Riley, who found me.
Oh, right. Okay.
And she had submitted a number of people in your field. Who do I want? And looked at the bios and, well, let's give them a run through. And Riley had a one-on-one with you, Angela.
Yeah.
And she told me, Dad, I said, let's go for it. Then we had a one-on-one.
We did.
Yes, we did. And within that, when my first interview with Angela was like, what should I expect? What am I going to gain? It's like a job interview.
It absolutely was.
Am I going to benefit?
Yeah.
And she was very honest. Look, Jeff, it's going to take time. My core is to work with you. I got to see you. You've got a lot of issues, and we'll work where we need it the most. Christiane, I'm going to interject. One of the main reasons was that I had fell and slipped in November last year, and I broke my arm, which we'll get into it, but it's now healed. And I also broke 3 of my feet as I fell.
3 of your toes.
Ouch.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Right. So add this to the mix. So I have the following. So I have psoriatic rheumatoid arthritis. I have osteoporosis. I have spondylitis, which is arthritis of the spinal column. And also, I also have in my left leg, I forgot the name. We were just talking.
It's an occlusion. It's a restriction of blood flow in the femoral artery.
So yes, so you can imagine being arthritic and being fragile with my skeleton. Falling is not a good thing for me.
No, it's not a good thing.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like Superman with kryptonite or Popeye without his spinach. That was my worst nemesis. Now, I had fallen in the past. To be frank, I did fall about 15 years ago, and I fell right on my bum, and I cracked the coccyx bone, which was almost similar in pain.
Yeah.
With that. Within that fall, I also had a pin put in my hip. Prior to that, I hope I'm not going around, lady.
I'm following my notes just to make sure I've got all these details as you go through them again. So far so good. I'm not missing anything.
Great. I was diagnosed with arthritis at about 35 years of age, as I had fallen at work. Technically, I fell on my left knee. I cracked the patella. I had minor surgery. They tried to drain, the fluid, the blue fluid, the amniotic fluid. Am I correct? If I recall?
It would be called synovial fluid.
Synovial.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking about being in Jamaica. I don't know.
Wouldn't we all like to be there, huh?
absolutely.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
to be honest with you, what had happened, as he kept putting the needle in to try to drop, it was very excruciating for
It's
me.
really painful. I
Like,
understand.
this
Yeah.
isn't right. This isn't right. And of course, that was I must have been about like 30, early 30s.
Mhm.
I believe that's what triggered the arthritic.
Changes in your knees. Yeah.
Correct.
Mhm.
On a footnote, if I may,
Sure.
so arthritis is genetic because my mother was chronically arthritic. So I had obviously inherited her gene, that genetic as well. Anyway, so did my best to rehab. I went back to work a little too early.
Mm.
Um,
Because that's not in your nature. I've
right.
noticed.
You're right. But I did because, hey, listen, I had to bring home the bacon. I was a
Sure.
young father. Hey, listen.
Of course. You had responsibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
In turn, for going back to work early, the negative is that I started putting pressure on the good leg. That's like
Right.
driving a car in your alignment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that,
It's a good analogy, actually.
yes, and that's what happened. So within that, it expedited the arthritis. My knees were hurting, my joints started hurting. All right, be quiet. Big boys don't cry. You figure it's aches and pains. Until it came to the point that I just couldn't. I was really in a lot of pain. I'd never experienced like chronic pain.
Mhm.
So
This was in the left hip, Jeff?
in the legs,
Both legs.
both legs,
Right.
both legs.
Mhm.
So I'm going to show you, Christine. You can see me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to show you. Should I?
Oh, sure.
Okay, so you can see. Well,
Mm-hmm.
see, this is obviously worse, the
Mhm.
deformity than this. As you can see, it's ironic how both
Yeah.
here are the same, right? So the point I want to make is that my knees went like that. So I
Oh,
was,
did they really?
yeah, my knees were
Okay.
like sticking out like that. Imagine,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Ouch.
Wow.
So here I am now, my late 30s and 40s. I'm seeing a rheumatologist and try this and try that. And, every day was a set every 3 months, and I'm getting worse. And like,
Yeah. What's the solution,
you need
right?
surgery.
Yeah.
You need surgery. No. Why?
Mhm.
Here's the truth. So with now how it relates to OHIP. I was too young. OHIP didn't want to put the money out. Why didn't they
Okay.
put out the money out? Because they figured, here I am young, well, late 30s, middle 30s. If I
Mhm.
do it, I'm being active in 10 years, I'm going to need another replacement.
And it was long enough ago, Jeff, that this is what was happening with the joint replacements at the time. And we spoke about this and said if you'd been 30, 40 years later, they may have done it because the quality of the joints now that they're replacing, the expired joints with is so much better.
You are correct.
So it lasts longer for you.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So I started to degenerate. I had to go on disability.
Yeah. What a change for you.
It was a big transition because
Yeah.
I'm not representing every male when I'm going to state, ladies.
Mhm.
Being a breadwinner, shall we put it?
Yeah. Just a little psychological load there for you.
Right.
Yeah.
All I knew was, hey, your job is to be a provider.
Mhm.
Your job is, apart from being a partner, is also being
Right.
a father and be sure the family has a roof, food over their head.
Yeah. Just a little readjustment for everybody. And what a difficult time for you.
Well, it's a transition. I mean, for me, it was horrible. I had to
Mhm.
transitionalize out
Yeah.
of the workforce. That was hard for me. And I guess it would be hard for anybody, really.
Sure.
It's like, hey, I'm still young. I still want to be
Third,
out
late
there, social,
30s.
right? The
Yeah.
social aspect, you're missing everything that goes with it.
Exactly.
So
Wow.
So I had to, unfortunately, due to the disease, I was forced out of the workplace,
Wow.
sadly.
And unbelievable, unbelievable. And so you have had double knee replacements.
I have indeed, yes, correct.
When did those eventually happen?
So finally, after like I'm pleading with them, and not so the RI I've seen was 10 years. Finally, at about 8 years after seeing him,
Oh,
I was just turning about 40, right? So remember, I'm diagnosed, try this, try Celebrex, try this, try that.
right.
That was very,
Anything for the pain. Yeah.
I understand, thank God, but the chemical, ladies, it was like really nauseating, right?
Yeah.
Battery acid, and it's like, enough, take it off, I can't handle it, right?
Oh, wow.
So anyways, thank God for biologics, because the biologics have really
Yes.
saved my life.
You've had really good results with some alternative options. Yeah.
That's right. So finally, at about 40 or 1990, finally saw the surgeon. He's retired. His name is Ted Rumble. If you ever want to search him, pioneer in the knee surgery, because allow me to explain. I know I'm going off topic.
That's quite all right.
But when they replace the knee, right? Obviously, there's an incision. They pull out the patella. It's like putting a new plastic, like a door handle lid, right? So he amazing. Normally, you get staples. No, what he did, the incisions. Well, you've seen the incisions. They're very thin, Christiane. And what he did, he sutured underneath, inside, dissolving sutures, which made it the incision to heal faster. I wouldn't have to
definitely.
I wouldn't have to go through getting staples, because I was transferred to a rehab, and I saw these women with, oh my God,
The staples, I know.
God,
Yeah.
anyways, but to that end, it was a beautiful. I knew after that, he did his job. I had to do my job,
Good for
Christian.
you.
So this is where I'm getting back to you, ladies. So listen, I was in rehab for 3 months. I had to work very hard because my immune system was not the strongest. I am a slow healer. And so someone might have been finished in like a month. Even after 3 months, when I was discharged, I still needed a lot of physio to get back to a new normal, shall we say.
That makes a lot of sense. So not only, sorry, I'm going to interject for a minute. Not only did you have knee joint degeneration, but you had knee joint degeneration likely because or exacerbated by the psoriatic arthritis and the rheumatoid arthritis. So you had two different kinds of arthritis impacting your immune system, breaking down those joints, and then were not able to get surgery because of the very real concern at the time that the joint just wouldn't hold up. And also your immune system likely would have attacked that extra joint in there as it was replacing biological tissue.
That is correct. And plus, from an OHIP, why they're going to throw money at a young guy and spend it again on me in like 10, 15 years. So
because you were a young provider with a family, right? That's where I would have said, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Let's keep this man in the workforce, right? Oh.
So, and I would plead with them, like, get me in, do something. Like,
right. That must have been really hard for everybody.
It was very frustrating.
No kidding.
Very frustrating until finally so usually, I just want to say funny. So with both knees being that bad, right? He wanted to do both at the same time. And I said, no. It's like, why? Because, doc, I'm weak. I can't handle it. I'm going to be bedridden for like 4 months. So we agreed to do one, which was my left and my left leg, if I may be bold. Normally, he was telling me knee replacement takes about an hour and a half. That knee took 5 hours.
Oh, geez. Good job, Jeff.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
wow.
Because he came and saw me after. He said, I never, You are one of the hardest cases I've ever had in my 30-year career. Not that I'm boasting, but like, wow, thank you.
Is that because of the amount of degeneration and he had to do a lot of cleanup while he was in there? A lot of
Absolutely.
inflammation and damage as a result of that?
Absolutely.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Absolutely. So
Mhm.
look, it's like a car, like, is it worth fixing the collision?
Aw.
No, I'm just saying, like,
You're in there, you're committed. It's a 5-hour job now,
Right,
honey. I'm not going to be home for dinner.
that's
The hour and a half on the clock is now 5. Wow.
that's
Yeah. Oh my. And then to move you forward from here, you had had a fall after this. And was this a fall on the left side that injured the left shoulder?
yes, yes.
And that this was after the double knee replacement, right?
Yes, so the
Okay.
second, right, you are. So the second knee replacement I had done in 1992. I had booked it then as I was rehabbing the book because the wait list
Right.
was so, all right.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, this knee was harder to rehab than this one.
Okay.
It was my better one. Go figure.
Hmm.
Anyways, no problem. D done. Pushed myself. I hope I'm not boring you, Christiane. You there?
No, no worries. Go ahead.
Wait, okay, listen. We're waiting for you ordered Swiss Chalet for the 3 of us, right? They have some,
I know. I'm trying to like scarf down my food.
okay, take your time. I'll talk. So yeah, so I was coming up the steps and I slipped and I did a wipeout on my step, concrete. I just like that way.
Wow. And when was this? This was, you had your second knee replacement in 1992. So when did you actually
I
fall?
think this happened in about 1995,
Ah, okay.
96, something like that.
Right. Okay.
So, you know, the PSO I was with helped me up,
Mhm.
dragged me in, threw me on the bed. I couldn't move. Right?
Wow.
Move.
You actually had fractured your left shoulder. Was it your upper arm bone?
Yeah, here
Yeah.
and hip.
And the hip as well. Yeah.
Fast
Wow.
forward, you know, I was at Riley came, dad, tried everything. Dad, we have to get an ambulance.
Yeah.
Went back. Same thing. Went back to the
Mhm.
hospital. So with the cracked,
Mhm.
nothing. It has to heal on the self.
On its own, the hip and the shoulder.
Correct, because
Right. Right.
it's like bone, right? It's a little tail that's
Exactly. Oh, I'm sorry. This was your coccyx when you fell.
yes.
Okay, so your coccyx, your left shoulder, and your left hip were all injured in the same fall.
Oh
So
no, wait, no, I am wrong. I'm confusing.
okay.
That's my mistake. So I felt right. So I fell, yes. Well, let me correct myself. So yes, I fell on the step. I fractured my shoulder
Mhm.
and the hip. Yes,
Right.
Get that back. My error.
That's okay.
So then went down to rehab. I was
Yeah.
in a wheelchair for 2 months
Mhm.
for the reason because they put a pin in the hip.
Right.
2 months between the bone to regenerate again and fuse,
Mhm.
right? 3 months, I get the 3rd month, guess what? So my muscles, what do you call it when your muscles get weak? This,
They atrophy,
thank you. That exactly.
of course.
But here's to boot. Oh, by the way, you can start walking now, but you're leaving at the end of the month.
Yeah, that is a deadline for you.
So I'm like, how can you boot me out in a month? Like I
Yeah.
need like 2 or 3 months to rehab and walk. Sorry. So I went to speak to the doctor. Sorry.
That's all they can do. Yeah.
Well, you
Mhm.
can imagine here I am. I'm trying to walk. I'm weak.
Mhm.
Get out. So I had no choice. That bike you saw
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
the same bike we got that I started to rehab myself.
Yeah, you did a really good job. Did a really
Well,
good job.
I had no choice.
Yeah.
But it took, I was in a wheelchair for almost 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Between those two between the double knee replacements, the fractured left hip and the pin and the fractured coccyx, you were disabled for the better part of 3 years, right? Immobile or not very mobile,
Yes.
right?
know,
For
and you
about
can
3
imagine,
years.
yes, and just on that note, you can imagine how raged I was. Like, how can you throw me out? I can't walk.
Yeah, I know.
1 month to get me to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you have, I know you had personal support workers coming to help you. Did you
Yes, I
have any other rehabilitation help at home?
Yes, I did. Well, I
Mhm.
had them, and for about maybe 5 visits, like
Community
physiotherapists come
physiotherapy.
by. It was the same thing. It's like sheets there, sheets here, sheets there. I knew I had to do it myself,
Yeah.
or else I wouldn't be where I am at now.
Mm-hmm.
And I also went as an outpatient.
Okay. Just back
Mhm.
to St. John's.
Yes, as an outpatient,
Mhm.
right? So listen, I had the PSW with me. We took wheelchairs. I was in a
Oh,
wheelchair.
yeah.
Listen, I don't forget those days,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Oh, sure.
so you can debate the healthcare system within that realm as well. But
So, and then after that, you were relatively injury free then from it was about 25 years ago, from the late 90s or so, would you say, until you had your fall last November. So you had a really good streak of consistent rehab, doing better.
yes and no.
Yeah, okay.
Yes and no. So after rehabbing the shoulder and the pin and spending 3 years in a wheelchair and learning to walk, finally getting out, because I had to learn to walk again. Even
Yeah, you did.
go down the steps, I had 2 people with me because I was so scared to falling.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a big fear.
Yeah.
All right, finally took it, went out driving again, learned to drive, regained myself as best I could.
Good.
Then I slipped and fell on the coccyx, which was too close to home. So
Right.
what the hell's happening here?
It's happening again. And when was that, Jeff?
Oh, geez, maybe 4 or 5 years after
Right.
the
Okay.
whole thing.
Early 2000s-ish.
So you can imagine, like, I just finished rehabbing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Go again, literally, ladies. You can imagine, like, what the hell? Like, what? God, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So they rushed. So I had to go to the hospital, lied in bed, waited for an availability. So they
Mhm.
put me at a senior's home. Within that point, I think the liberals were in charge. Within the senior citizen home, they allowed 10 beds for rehabs.
Yes.
So I was on the male floor with, I must have been, I don't know, late 50s at this point, something like that, whatever. And
Mhm.
I'm with elderly seniors.
Yeah, it's a big adjustment. My uncle had to do that after recovering from some mental illness that was a real challenge for him. And it was very interesting to see him very vibrantly in his, at that point, he would have been in his late 60s, sitting at a table for his meals with people who were well into their 80s. And yet he was there to be observed and to be helped through, daily therapies. And it's a great thing to have that. But I think there is a place, isn't there, for a rehabilitation facility for people who
Are not waiting
Right.
for LTC.
Exactly. So it's not a retirement center, it's not a long-term care center, but there's this middle space that people who need full-time care can be as they rehabilitate and integrate back into the community again.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. And listen, the social worker said, Jeff, there's a place, which was the place, because I wanted to get out of the hospital
Yeah.
anyway. And it's like, this is it. Are you okay to be with senior? I said, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So look at, I was the youngest kid there, right?
Yeah. That could
And
be
you know
fun.
what?
You'd hear some good stories, right?
I did. And you know what the beautiful thing was? It introduced me to aging.
Oh, very
in
interesting.
a positive note,
Mhm.
right? You know, these gentlemen welcomed me. They were very friendly, always friendly. Can I help you? Like, which I did. Like, here, let me get you a sandwich. I'll wheel you. Stay there. Thank you. I get it. Like,
That's great.
these are my
Yeah.
elders, and I respect my elders. And
Mhm.
it was great. And again, it took about 5 days for the like I couldn't sleep. I was up all night because it's just like,
Oh, throbbing pain. You're on your side, basically.
yeah, really, you're right.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm on the side. I had a pillow. It's like, get away, don't talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until there's like one day, honestly, it just stopped.
It stopped hurting.
Just
Yeah.
stopped
And it took 5 or 6 days for that to happen.
after, and then I was there for another 3 months.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah,
to regain your function again.
again, here we go again. The walk, the stretching,
You're
the
so used to
walk,
it by that
right?
point.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like, let me tell you what I know.
Here's
Like,
my
I know more
program.
than
I'll
you,
just start. Yeah.
So to your point, and that I had been free then
Yes.
until last November.
Yes. So you had some time where you were able to return home, integrate back into society and your normal social circles, and gaining strength. That was quite obvious when I met you that you gained quite a bit of strength and muscle mass and muscle tone as well. And then you had that fracture last November where you described to me that you fell and you'd hit the right side of your head on the carpet in your hallway, and you scraped the skin on your face, and you were holding a small bag at the time. You were distracted, waiting for a phone call, and just so many things. And then all of a sudden you're on the ground, right?
Correct.
Mhm.
You know that. So my brain was running and my body was disconnected and couldn't keep up.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
my brain, and here's my physical, and it's like, come on, we gotta go, and let's go. And it's like and boom.
Yeah. Down you went.
Down I went.
Yeah. Wow. Well, luckily you had a phone in your hand. Were you with your PSW at the time?
No, I had just left dinner with my son-in-law and Riley.
Right.
Drove home, and it was like about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's interesting that when I was like, I remember like going in the air, like slow motion.
Oh no.
So it's like
The
it's like,
cartoon fall, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It sticks. No, it sticks. I'm
Yeah.
in the air and I'm turning and like I'm landing. I
This is
bounce,
not going to be good,
bounce,
right? And you
right?
bounced. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh
Slip
no.
on the carpet, and it's like bang, bang.
Why?
It was, thank God, a lady was coming through the door, ran to me,
Oh, good.
and a neighbor opened the door. So, they got me ice, they got me the pillow, they took off my jacket,
Great.
got the phone, called the kids got me, kids
Mm-hmm.
to ER. And so what had happened was, as you can see, Sam, Christine, can you see?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So this and this were standard because of the arthritis.
Mm-hmm. So
As
the
you can see,
contractures at about 90 degrees.
right. So you can
Yep.
see this elbow was the one I cracked. Right. So you can see it's more out there, right? Than this arm. And a lot of nerve tissue, right, was still
Mhm.
there. And this was prior to this. This was my worst hand to form
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. So look, prior to meeting Angela, I was working out. I had to wait to get the get-go from the cast and the x-rays and
Mhm.
and I knew, like, like, when can I go? Like, I know what I have to do. It's like a train.
Here we
Right?
go again. Yeah.
Jeff, not yet, because you have to wait 3 months.
Mhm.
You have to wait 3 months for it to heal, the bone.
Mhm.
Calcium, the crack had to heal, so forth. And then boom, I just started stretching and ouching. Look, no pain, no gains. Fearless leader slapped me in the head.
We're working on that. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
She got me down on that. So, Christine, look, here I am with Angela's help. She had to reset my mind on a few things, and also respectively trial and error. Because
Yeah.
in your Christine, I assume, not everything works for everybody.
Mhm.
And, right. And I've been that way with Angela. Jeff, try this. How are you feeling? Angela, I'm feeling okay.
Mhm.
Stop. Okay, Jeff. She's thinking, what else? Here, Jeff, try this. Is that easier for you? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to do 2 or 3 a day, and that's it. If you have any problems, text me, let you know. And I had, Angela, that way you showed me, it feels great.
Mhm.
This one you showed me, it flared on my back. I'm taking it off for now. No
Mhm.
problem. So it's
Mhm.
trial and error. You're learning the physiological. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Of each patient. So being not a know-it-all, that's for sure. I don't profess to be a jack of all trades. I can only relate to you in my journey, Christine, as you embark on yours, that you shall meet people, and it's going to be trial and error.
Mhm.
Nobody's ever textbook.
Exactly. Although the golden rule is there, but hey, well, that didn't work. Well, let's try that. Right.
That's what it's all about. I mean, we have a basic guideline. We know how to do an assessment. We don't know what we'll find. We would expect muscles and bones and posture to be a certain way, and they're not always. And we think, oh, now that's pretty interesting. For you, we were looking at the contractures in your ring fingers,
Yes.
which are fixed. They're absolutely rigid, about 90 degrees on both fingers. Your wrists are rigid. Your elbows are completely rigid. So even though, we've really tried to do some movement there, some manual therapy there. I don't know if you've noticed any movement through those areas, but I just wasn't really sure that what we were doing was actually getting any soft tissue response there. What do you think about that?
So let me answer it the way I know. I hope I'm clear. Look,
Mhm.
this is what it is. The only way to straighten it would be surgery and a plate.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be realistic, right?
That's what we kind of discovered, is that
Right.
to
Even-
work at
even-
those angles,
that's
I'm
right.
not sure.
That's
Mhm.
right. You're right. And Christine, let me also tell you, which I did, I looked at surgery to straighten it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So the surgeon I saw, he would make an incision, right? Crack the bones, put a plate.
To support it.
Yep. Then an incision here to straighten it, an incision here, and then an incision here. I don't know if you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then he's telling me I'm looking at like a year of physio.
Oof.
Okay. And then although this sounds better, it would be the same thing, right?
Mhm.
So I said to him, I said, Doc, what are you making me? Wolverine?
Yeah, exactly. So what we've been doing is we've just been practicing as much mobility as possible, right? So we've been looking at closing and opening the fist as much as possible. Yeah, we've been working on finger and thumb opposition. For Jeff, you can see on his right hand, he has quite a hollow in the middle of the hand and wasting in the thenar muscles bilaterally. The outer hand's not as bad. He actually has fairly good motion, which is maintaining the muscle in the outside of the hand, the lateral portion of the hands. But in terms of wrist flexion and extension, not a lot. We're seeing fingers, but we're not seeing a lot through the wrist. So we're just doing what we can for the fingers.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, we've been working on the shoulders, and you've been doing very well with the shoulders. Yes. So we were practicing simple elevation and depression, and we were practicing protraction forward and retraction backward. And then in side lying, you've been doing really, really well with flexion of the shoulder. Yes, and you no longer lift the shoulder first, which
Right.
is amazing.
Right.
You've
Right.
come a long way with your shoulders.
Well, if through you, so I would always go like this.
Yep.
So what Christianity, sorry, what fearless leader, as I call her, but don't tell anybody that. You can call her FL for short. She had to train me, and I had to train my brain to separate, to stop doing that. So she said, Jeff, breathe, close your eyes, lay back, focus your brain to your here, the cuff, the vertebrae. And like, right? It took time to discipline. Like it's a real mental discipline.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
Because practice makes permanent.
Right. So again, in the journey about the mind, you know, people have to learn practice makes perfect, as you know. And in your journey, I'm sure you found people who had the same thing. Here, no, Jeff, you got to do it this way, right? So it's like you're going to be coaching, as I've learned from her, Jeff, to breathe, take your time.
A lot of breathing. Yeah.
I'll be back next week. We'll check on you. Jeff, you're a little better. Try this, right? Because she says, I'm struggling. Well, let's try another method.
Yeah.
And listen, believe me, you know, she left and I would do like an hour.
I didn't want to hear that. You're not supposed to tell me that part.
5 within an hour.
Right, 5 in an hour. Okay,
You know,
good.
So Christiane, it was like fascinating to discipline the mind. Because she said, Jeff, you probably never thought of your mind going to your day. And even other parts like my feet, my toes, like, Jeff, can you do this? Jeff, can you do that with your toes?
That's what I was going to mention next.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. We were looking at what are the big things that would help improve your function. So we knew that walking was one of the big goals that you wanted to work on. So we knew we needed to concentrate on the feet and then also the shoulders. So we knew we couldn't get a lot of motion out of hands or wrists or elbows. So then we were looking at, okay, well, how do the shoulders move and what kind of function do you have and would you like out of the shoulders? And then we need to connect everything through the center. So what kind of pelvic stability and spine stability do you have to actually help to control the shoulders? And then what do the feet and lower legs look like to help to control your walking mechanics? So we've been spending a lot of time on foot exercises. So in your bare feet, working on what they call short foot. So actually drawing the toes toward the heel to work on your arches. And your feet are actually in pretty good shape. You've got a bunion on the left foot, but we've been working on that. Sorry, you have a bunion on your right foot.
Yes.
And you'd fractured 3 toes on your right foot with your fall. So you have some residual inflammation on that side, which is a little different than on the other side. On the left foot, you've got fairly straight toes. So we've been working at that short foot. We've been working at lifting all the toes together, then just your big toes. And just recently, we started doing and I'll just show your exercise program if that's okay.
Please.
Let's walk through that. I'll just share the screen and show what we've been focusing on here. So we've been working on, let me move you over so I can see you again here. You can see your exercise program on the screen here. So we said for instructions, go slowly and move really intentionally through your whole exercise program. So everything had to be slow and very mindful and methodical. So that was changing how you were doing it before. We were saying fewer repetitions, go more slowly, concentrate a little more fully. And we started you with walking with a cane. And actually, you're now moving to using the walking poles. So you've been using the poles, which I like because you're much more even, your posture is much taller, and you're getting some shoulder movement together with your leg movement, which is great.
Correct.
you've recently been increasing your distance there quite a bit too. So you've been walking, I noticed last day, much further. I had to stop you. Whereas before you were really getting tired walking about half the length of half the hallway, but now you can do a full half of the hallway and come back, which is great. And what we're working on is you have this kind of, we were teasing you, a bit of a Charlie Chaplin stance, and we're trying to get you to articulate through the ankle joint, because until you can flex through the ankle joint, you're not going to be able to straighten the orientation of the feet. So what we've started doing, let me just look down here. I haven't added it in yet, so let's add it in.
She's added it.
I will add it in for you. So we will look at ankle dorsiflexion, and let's see if I can find the picture that I want. There we are. So we were looking at this one here.
That's right.
And we add it to your program, and we're going to slide it up here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to slide it first because what you were doing here is standing in front of your kitchen counter, your bar counter there, and putting your toes against the wall. And you were just easing your knee toward the wall and seeing how close you could get. And then you were sliding your foot back a little bit and then trying to push your knee forward again down toward the wall. And what we're trying to do is increase the amount of ankle dorsiflexion, the amount of flexion you have in that front ankle. The more range of motion you can get in the ankle, the more likely you'll be able to walk over the toe. And so the Charlie Chaplin feet will no longer be necessary because you'll have ankle motion instead of having the foot out to the side. That is how we're going to be able to strengthen your bum muscles and help you with a much more upright posture. So we added that one in. And for repetitions, what did we say? We said probably about 5 or so for each one.
5, yes.
And we're doing it daily.
Yes.
You're doing it daily.
Yes.
And let me save that for you.
Daily.
And then you've been working on your walking. And then the other area we've been working on is with you lying down on your bed. When your back is really sore, you really enjoy doing those pelvic tilts. I think they really help to soothe your
Yes.
back pain.
Pelvic, yes. And when you were here yesterday, remember you showed me like that, and then go like that, and then bring that, like mechanical. Like
Right.
Second, third, and reverse.
Exactly.
And that helped. That helped tremendously. And also, what I very much so with bringing the knees up. Remember, we were trying to get that 90 degree. You were showing me, right?
Yeah, it's
up. Am I right?
exactly. And so this was really interesting. What we were trying to do is we were moving to, let me change the order here. What we were trying to do is a leg slide after your pelvic tilt, and we're trying to get your knees to bend as far as possible. And what we were noticing is they would bend to 90 degrees, and that was that, right? We just can't get more than 90 degrees. But Christiane, what Jeff has is called functional effectiveness. He doesn't need more than 90 degrees to do what he needs to do. So we were pretty good with the 90 degrees, pretty happy. But then we went one step further, and we started working on a single knee raise. And a very interesting thing happens here. Jeff is not able to articulate the femur from the pelvis on the left side. So when you lift your left knee, your whole spine flexes in toward the bed. And ideally what we'd like is a nice straight spine and your legs, your hips to bend without your spine moving. So we're still going to work on that a little bit more and see if we can get more movement in with that femur bone, the big, large leg bone, rolling in the hip socket without the spine moving at the same time. So that's what we were doing.
I don't know what they're called. Like I call them knee circles, but like
Yeah.
What if you do like single knee raise, but like in that position,
Yeah.
have his femur kind of move like like a like a stirring the pot kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a Pilates exercise.
Yeah. Well, that's where a lot of my training comes in from.
Yeah, yeah, knee circle. So let's see. It's almost like this one here in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
hip
can.
circles. Yeah.
Yep, yep. So we'll add that one in. Thank you. There you go, Jeff. Christiani's adding exercises for you. This is
About time,
great.
Christianity.
Giving you more
I know,
homework.
right? She's just
That's
You
okay.
should
listening.
Bring it on.
you should see how my patients, because pretty much every week they come in, I give them like additional exercise. So after a couple of weeks, they've got like a whole Bible to work with.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm the same way with Angela. So you know what? Because I'm homebound, retired, you know what? And because I've had to retrain my mind that less is better,
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, and I've told Angela, like, I'm usually starting at like 7 now. I used to start at 6.
I got him to sleep in a bit more.
Right, exactly. But, I discipline, get up in the morning, do your business, have a coffee. I know. And I like, here's my job. My job is my mind and body for health.
Mhm.
And I do take a 10-minute break. Don't get me wrong. And I'll be honest with you. I've told her, sometimes I'm not finished till like 3 o'clock.
This is something that we've been working on is trying to make sure that the exercises are doable, that the repetition numbers are small. When he wakes up in the morning or when he lies down for a nap, that's when he can do a few of these exercises. They don't all have to be done at once. Because I explained to him that, look, we've got 9 exercises here, and that's a lot. So we group the first 2 together and say, those are done together. Work on your ankles and your toes first, and then move to your walking. And then when you're lying down, you might decide, well, I'm just going to do the pelvic tilts and the leg slides. And then later on, I might do the knee raises and the hip circles.
And then even like the pelvic clock, I guess, like once he gets the hang of the tilt.
Yep.
Or the tail swish.
Yep. I can show him the pelvic clock. That might be really handy as well. Let me see if they have that one here. And it's just a variation on the pelvic tilt. Here we go. Pelvic clock separated, pelvic clock full. So we'll do this one here. Add it to my favorites. Thank you, Christiane. So Jeff, we'll go through the hip circles and the pelvic clocks next day. And then I'll just show Christiane the last couple here that we've been doing. And we've described these 2 already, or these 3, sorry, we described this one already.
Right.
Lying on your side. And this is how we're trying to use all the rotator cuff muscles by guiding your arm into that flexed position up to the ear, which you can now do all the way through. And trying to make sure that as you go up toward your headboard of your bed, that you're moving through the shoulder joint as opposed to lifting, using your neck muscles and trying to hike your shoulder up in the air. You're actually trying to rotate your arm bone in your shoulder socket. So that's coming really well.
I don't know. How do I explain this? The shoulder drops, like when you're like supine, you like basically scapular retractions, I guess.
Yep.
But we always call them shoulder drops.
So just being like, just lying supine and actually bringing shoulders down away from the ears.
Yeah, like I'll put my hands like right above them. It's like, okay, reach my hands way up high and then retract them. And then
Got it.
protract.
Yeah, protraction, retraction.
Yeah.
Hands coming up toward the ceiling.
Yeah, or even like the stirring the pot, kind of in that position for the shoulder as well.
Stirring the pot with the shoulders. Yeah. Yeah, those would be good ones. I can experiment with those. Sure. I'm going to drop these down. I'm going to drop these down here. 3 per side. I just want to make sure that we keep these very low, very doable pelvic tilts. You're just going to need a few of those. We're going to work a little more on the ankle though. Going to go for variety. So then the next couple, the last couple here, we've been working on a side bridge. And this is where we'll spend a little bit more time next week. We didn't get to the shoulder and hip exercises. We work together for about a half an hour a week. So we just kind of choose what we're going to work on at the beginning of the session. So next day, we'll work on these three where we'll view the side arm raise, see how you're doing. And then I really like the side bridge, which you are now able to fish your arm underneath you and lift your hips up, which you couldn't do when we met. So this is where we're going to work on next is trying to work on trunk stability and spine strength and by bringing you up into that side bridge. And then the last one we've been working on is a super straight side leg raise with you right on your side and not rolling forward or backward. And that was tough, but you've now got that. So you've got enough trunk stability to stay right on your side. And you didn't used to be able to lift the leg, and now you can lift your leg. So that's been really good.
Yes, it's yes, absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Really great. So that's where we are. Jeff, while you're here, I will send this over to you. There you go.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Work.
There you got it. No. Save it up till Monday. We'll go through it Monday. You just continue as you've been doing. I'm going to stop the screen share here just so I don't frighten anybody as we return.
Don't frighten anybody. What happened?
There
I got cut off. Okay.
There you go. So that's you in a nutshell, Jeff. That's really what we're working on, is improving ankle mobility and toe mobility, which will in turn help your hip mobility, because we'll be able to then access the hip muscles as you get a better stride and move through the hips a little better. And we're really working on trunk stability and strength to help to allow the neck and shoulders just to relax and get a little bit more mobility with those too.
Correct. So is this where I say the phrase, that old phrase, the hip bone's connected to the thigh, but bone's connected to the.
Of course.
So I guess, Christiane, I'm an ongoing work in progress.
Yeah, you're a project.
Aren't we all?
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
yes. However, in my journey with illness, disease, whatever, from a psychological point, I just like to point out to you, if it has any relevance or not. It's amazing for me how it changed, well, apart from my lifestyle and everything, my thought process that I'm going to just come out and say it bluntly. You cannot put a price tag on health.
Yeah, I hear it all the time.
You cannot. Ever.
Look after it carefully.
Right. And it's easy verbatim to say, Christiane. God forbid, I wish, God forbid nothing happens, but if God forbid something, then you realize, you can't put a price tag on my health.
Oh yeah, Angela knows all about my different injuries.
Yeah.
So then you know yourself.
Yeah.
It's
That's
really,
right.
if I may, I'm sorry, I know I'm blabbing here a bit, but
Not
from
at all.
a
Go ahead.
perspective, which is also important, of course, is like, it's a big wake-up call. Like, you grow up a bit and realize, hey, keep the car, hey, keep the house. I don't need a big house, I'll take a little house. I can't maintain a house, so I'll get a nice apartment. Right? I'm just saying, I'll get an apartment on the second floor in case of emergency. You think, like, you reposition.
You really think differently about your life, don't you? It puts things in a very different perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you value things differently, and things that weren't as precious before all of a sudden take top of mind positions.
Absolutely, and you realize the importance of life.
That's right. You really do.
For granted.
Yeah.
And boom, when you can't. So look, I've had to learn to repurpose and eat differently, hold the fork differently,
Mhm.
so forth, whatever. I had to learn to redress myself.
Mhm.
Listen, to be blunt, if I may, and not to be rude, I had to relearn to potty and toilet train myself.
You did? Yeah.
Yep.
And that was
Not
very
unusual.
embarrassing.
Of course it would be. Yeah.
Very embarrassing to have
Help
someone
with that.
interview down there. It was like
Mhm.
how you lost your dignity. So
Mhm.
I was really like, oh
Yeah.
God, it's like, so,
You've come so far, though. You really have. I mean, you
well,
really
thank you.
doubled down on your nutrition
Well,
as well. You've been
yeah,
cleaning up your diet and adding some strategic supplements for pain
absolute. Listen,
and blood
taking me to
flow.
another place
Mhm.
as well, Ange. I'm not saying that to make her look good, Christiane. She has. It's the truth. I'm not, and she knows that. And we tend to disagree too a few times, but
Oh, yeah, we're both pretty strong
but
personalities.
but listen, she is the Yoda.
Oh, boy.
She's the Yoda to the next generation. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna question. Anyways,
Well, yeah, and that's why I'm here to learn also.
right. So you got a great mentor. You got a great teacher.
Oh,
You
thanks.
have Christiane. If I'm sorry, Angela, not to still. Do you have any questions for me? You would like?
Yeah.
I mean, apart from your own clients, that could be of help or service.
No, but I'm just so glad to hear that like you were able to take care of yourself and that even though you only had the 1 month of the rehab, that you were able to kind of take your health into your own hands and you did your own research and with you and your family, you found Angela and just taking control because I find up here in the north, resources are so limited. So, and people really struggle up here. So I'm glad that, people in Toronto that you guys have a lot of really good access to a lot of really good people.
Yeah, we do. I mean, the system's not perfect, as you know. There's still shortages.
Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
Something like that. I listen. I think what I'm trying to say is, you know what? It's simple. What people put into it is what they're going to get out of it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I think it's also very mentally like discipline, right? Not everyone's this like ouch, ouch, ouch. Well, how many did you do today? 3 and it hurt. Well, you gotta learn a little pain, no gain. We don't want to hurt. I just think it's also psyche, like how much do you want to get better? And that for me, it's always been I've been driven.
Mhm.
The doctor
Very.
job, Angela's showing me what to do. She's done her job. Here, Jeff, the ball's in your court.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you bounce the ball or don't
Mhm.
bounce the ball.
And I forgot to give you a ball. I
I
realized.
got 3 tennis balls here. You forgot.
Oh,
Your
they do have
favorite.
tennis balls. That's
Your
right. We
favorite.
were using
For
tennis
swing,
balls for his feet.
for swing.
That's right. That's right. Well, Jeff, listen, I really appreciate your time this evening. I really appreciate your candidness and sharing your rehab journey and your struggles and how you really managed to cope very, very well. And I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to work with you. Thank you for agreeing to have me along on your journey. And I look forward to seeing you on, I guess, a week Monday.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm more than happy to do it again to
Thank
help.
you.
Listen, I in our life journey, I'm sorry not to sound like a Dr. Phil or a philosophical, but I am philosophical.
You are,
Look,
yes.
When we were young, we were nurtured, we were shown, we were taught, we took what we wanted and bleep the rest. All right. So like in this case, in your journey as well, Christine, and everybody else who's getting into this realm of healthcare, listen, you have to practice and learn and hear
All the
these
time.
stories, right?
Never stops.
So listen, I'm happy to help. Listen,
Thank you.
and I hope to do it again with you, Angela. And
Absolutely. We have to show some more progress.
I
Oh,
think
for sure. Keep us
Here we go.
posted.
I think Christiane, that I think on the next one after Labor Day, we should get as many as the 2,000 people online here next time.
There we go. We'll work at that. We will definitely work at that.
Nice.
Christiane, I
Thanks,
wish you well
everybody.
on your journey. I hope to see you again sometime if you feel the need.
For sure.
I hope what the takeaway with me is your
Well,
patience.
no, again, it's the thing that I find always interesting is in working with so many different people, again, it's you learn certain things in school, but then when you work with people, it's not they don't have one condition. You have to consider, oh, well,
Oh, yes.
for condition A, it's this treatment. For condition B, it's this treatment. But what happens when somebody has A and B?
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's when it gets fun. That's what I like.
So hence the coin, hands on.
That's right. Absolutely.
Maybe that's where that came from. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks, everyone. We will check
you.
in with all of you again soon.
You will, Christiane. A pleasure. Good luck up there.
Thank
If any of your
you.
clients- Listen, if any of your patients give you a hard time, throw them out to JR. I'll smack them silly.
Well, I'm actually here because the physio waiting list is so long that I'm here to help the people with the chronic issues. So a lot of arthritis, a lot of just aches and pains, and yeah, so far it's been going well.
Good for you. Good for you. And you know what? Before I let you guys go, Christian, I'm sure you've heard it, but I'm sure the greatest joy, as I've seen Angela, and she's told you, is seeing the results
Mm-hmm.
based
Mhm.
from that person applying the technique, what they need to do. And it might take a while, but when you see, hey, Jeff, you're walking better. I'm just using myself. Or hey,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
like when I hear, so I know I'm validated when she says, Jeff, you're doing this better. Jeff, I
Yeah.
know. So Jeff, you're walking a little bit. Okay, so I know to me the effort is the
Paying
work.
off. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're starting to
And,
do
and
the
up here,
yeah.
it's always a little bit of a bittersweet moment when somebody does so well, because that means, they're ready for discharging. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my gosh, like over
You're
the
done.
past, couple of weeks, couple of months, you really get to know people, and then they're off.
Absolutely. And I found, listen, I'm sorry, I'm very vocal. I'm a salesperson, I'm a yapper. It's also imperative that they maintain it at home.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Just because you're fine and we see doesn't mean
Yep.
you go home and slide.
We know all about that. Yeah.
That's an issue. I think a lot of people don't take that.
I feel like we
Absolutely.
need to give Jeff an honorary kin degree.
No.
Hasn't he got it figured out, Christiane? I really think he does.
What, an honorary Mr. Sub?
Mr. Ken.
All right. Thank you. Have a
You're
good
welcome.
weekend. Christiane, I know you're going to make a great difference up there.
Thank you so much.
And maybe,
Lovely.
maybe one day Angela will come up for a cruise and have a little.
There's
For
a road
sure.
trip, eh, Jeff?
For sure.
I'll drive.
Come
I'll
up
drive. I'll pay for gas.
fishing. We got plenty of lakes. We got right now it's blueberry season.
Oh,
No
it is.
bugs.
Wow. Amazing. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Ladies, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks so much again, Jeff.
My pleasure. Good luck to all.
Thanks.
And don't forget to vote.